Hello, Kenny Atchison here, and I want to help you achieve even higher levels of success in 2018 with tips that I'll offer you in this short video with things that you see behind me here. You've probably heard that the only way to improve something is to track and measure it. And that's the case. You know, an athlete that wants to improve their time running the mile has to have a stopwatch. Now, there's a second part to that. If they also have another person to measure their numbers against, they'll do even better and they can both improve. And you should do the same thing. So track and measure everything, but also compare it to others in your 20 group or benchmarks of the industry. And you want to do that because you don't want to spend a bunch of time trying to improve something you might already be doing a great job at. And I have seen that. And the opposite is also true. You might be something you need to improve that you didn't think you did, but when you compare to others, you find out you do need some improvement. So let's talk about your IRP, your initial response percentage. That is, you get leads, what percentage of them respond to you in the first 72 hours. So dealer number one doesn't track and measure, so let's forget them. Dealer number two, let's say it's you get 45%. But dealer number three gets 78%. You're wondering, how can I get 78%? That's not the benchmark of the industry, by the way. But let's say you want to improve to that because you know dealers that are doing it. And I do know dealers that are getting a better response than that. But I know a whole bunch that are getting a lot worse than the 45. So you're at 45, someone else is at 78. There's a lot of room for improvement. You could sell a lot more cars without even spending another dollar on marketing and advertising just by improving that initial response percentage. If you went from 45 to 78, boy, you'd have a lot more vehicles sold. So how is that? Why is that? What could be the challenges? A, B, and C. A is the marketing. It could be the marketing on the front end. If you're, for example, a buy here, pay here dealer, and you're putting your ads in front of people that are looking for brand new or almost new Ford F-150s, then here's what could happen. Someone sees your ad. It's a compelling ad. It's a well-written ad, but poor targeting. They go to the website and they see something right away, a message that says quick, easy financing. And so they fill out that form. You now have a lead. Then that person is looking at the inventory and they figure out, oh, oops, this isn't where I'm not going to be buying a vehicle from these people. So they don't bother responding to your emails or phone calls or whatever you're doing to communicate with them because they know they're not going to buy from you. You don't know that, but they know that. So it could be poor targeting on the front end. Number two, it could be the method being used, B, to communicate with these customers. Or your salespeople just firing off an email and waiting for the phone to ring, because that's a problem. That's not going to work. You could sell a lot more vehicles by using more than one method to communicate with leads. Call them, text them, email them, carrier pigeon with a card, whatever it is, use more than one method. And I have several dealers that I've consulted with that are now using more methods to communicate with leads, and they're selling more vehicles because of it. They're using all four of those, not carrier pigeon, but they're sending postcards after trying the other three. C, the message. What's the message being used? You leave a lot of voicemails. Your salespeople leave a lot, or BDC leave a lot of voice messages to leads. What is that message? And I've seen this a lot where a salesperson or BDC says, hey, Kenny, I saw you looking at that truck. I want to help you. Give me a call. That's not compelling. That's not going to convince anyone to call. That's not giving them a reason to call. That is a boring message. It's dry. It doesn't really say that. It's lazy. So, and a lot of times it is laziness, but it could be they're busy doing something else and they just fire off a quick message, not realizing how important the message is. Or if they're leaving a voice message or email, whatever it is, the message is important. It needs to be compelling. It needs to be convincing. It needs to give them a reason to call. It needs to not sound like it's a high pressure situation. It needs to build trust. So there's a lot of ways to do that I won't go into in this short video, but the point is track and measure everything, compare yourself to others, and think of these three things that I just gave you, and you will improve in 2018.